So since the Hood just came out as the new tank hero for Rivals, let's talk about bro's origin cause this shit gets nuts. So the Hood's real name is Parker Robbins. Parker grew up in New York, and as a kid, him and his father would witness the hero Daredevil fight the villain Electro. Electro would end up winning this fight, and this would end up actually captivating Parker. For some odd reason, Parker just liked the idea of the villain winning in the end. As Parker grew up though, bro's life just got worse. Bro's dad ended up passing away, his mom became very mentally ill, causing her to live in a mental home since Parker couldn't take care of her anymore. This would even lead for Parker to drop out of high school and become a petty thief alongside his cousin. Other than this, he had a pretty normal life with his pregnant girlfriend, but he would also cheat on her by paying for sex, which is wild, but we're moving on. Parker was never satisfied with a normal life though, as he longed for a better care for his mom, a better life for him and his girl, but most of all, he wanted respect. Specifically, the kind of respect that only power could give him. His cousin John offers him a burglary job that he's been setting up. They were set to go rob a warehouse, but when they get there, they only find arcane-like symbols in the ground and candles everywhere. That's when out of nowhere, this huge-ass demon-looking thing with a cloak on just pops up. Parker starts blasting at it with a gun, making it drop on the ground. John and Parker get out of there, but beforehand, Parker just loots the fuck out of its corpse, taking the cloak and boots for himself. He later gets mugged by a group of people, but that's when he runs for it using the boots he found. He puts some shits on and bro just starts fucking flying. He also later finds out that when he wears the cloak, the dude can go invisible as long as he holds his breath. With Parker learning how to use his new abilities, John gets another idea to rob a ship full of African diamonds that happen to be ran by one of Kingpin's lackeys. This dude's name is Dennis the Golem, and he hired villains like Shocker, Madame Rapier, Jack-O-Lantern, and Constrictor to help protect him. This ended up turning into a whole ass firefight between Parker and the villains, leading to an explosion. The cops then get there only to see Parker armed with 2 guns. Parker sees the cops and he immediately gets to blasting, like he wastes no time. He ends up hitting an officer straight in the neck with a bullet while John comes behind the other, knocking him out. They both escape, but turns out Parker is now a wanted man due to shooting that cop. Bro has a whole wanted poster with them calling him the Hood. Parker would then make a deal with Golem to give back the diamonds, but Golem was secretly planning on killing him. Parker planned for this though, and he ended up fighting Madame Rapier. He whoops her ass and then he makes her put on a red cloak of her own. The police then get there, and thinking that she's the Hood, they just shoot the fuck out of her, clearing Parker's name. Parker still felt guilty though, cause the cop that he shot ended up dying in the hospital. Parker then goes to the mental home that his mom's being held at and then promises her that he'll try to be a better person as he continues being the Hood. Later on, Parker would be kidnapped by a being named the Stranger and would be put on some type of Battleworld alongside other characters like Spider-Man, Venom, Medusa, Wasp, and another character a lot of people don't know named Gravity. Gravity was basically the product of Marvel trying to make another hit teenage superhero like Spider-Man, but they kind of failed, and they put him back on the shelf for years, and after this, I don't think we ever see him again. Parker and Gravity would become homies, but this was very short-lived due to Gravity sacrificing himself to make sure everyone else could get home safe. Parker would even be at bro's funeral, like that was his boy. A while after this, Parker's daughter was eventually born, and at some point him and his girlfriend married, but the whole him trying to be better thing was also very short-lived. This was mainly due to the cloak's demonic influence, and it slowly darkened his heart and morals. This cloak literally turned bro evil, like his greed for shit was nuts. This got so bad that the cloak could sometimes turn him into a straight up demon, and over time his powers became way easier to use. Now he didn't need to hold his breath to go invisible or use the boots to fly, he can just do that shit off rip. He can also shoot lightning from his hands, use magic infused bullets, and can even teleport now. After this, he would just lead a life of crime, all while a mysterious voice would just play in his head. He would even end up leading his own team of supervillains, basically becoming the kingpin of the crime underworld. He would also end up helping the heroes during the Skrull invasion, but that's when he would find out that the voice inside of his head turned out to be Dormammu. Turns out all of his powers in that same cloak come from Dormammu himself. Even after finding this out, Parker would keep on being the Hood, but Dormammu would slowly but surely deepen their connection. This got to the point where Parker didn't even need the cloak anymore to have powers. He could just do the shit off rip now. There's even a part in his story where a bunch of supervillains burn his cloak thinking he's powerless, and then he basically just spawns another one using magic Dormammu infuses him with. This dude gains even more powers while being bonded to Dormammu, by the way. Bro has super strength and speed now. He can bring back the dead with rituals. He can see through illusions, see through shapeshifting, see through invisibility, has telepathy shielding. Dormammu even enhances the powers that he already had, making him way stronger than he was previously. And if you thought Parker was done looking for power, you are dead wrong. This man has and will make deals with any god or entity for power at this point. He made a deal with Lady Loki to get the Norn Stones, which gave him elemental magic and reality altering powers. He made a deal with Mephisto, which is the literal devil of Marvel, by the way, to make it so that Johnny Blaze, aka Ghost Rider, loses the spirit of vengeance and it bonds completely into Parker's body, turning Parker into the new Ghost Rider. From this, he got Hellfire powers, being able to imbue his weapons and vehicles with it. He did eventually give his powers back up to Johnny, but this resulted in Parker's soul getting dragged to hell. It was a whole thing. He also ends up getting the Infinity Stones at some point. This was just because he lost his connection to Dormammu and bro was so desperate for power that he stole the Infinity Stones from the Illuminati. This was very short-lived though, because Iron Man just ended up taking them back. Lastly though, in the Marvel Rivals universe, he gets a new cloak that's tied to a cosmic entity named Oblivion. He got this by breaking out of prison and stealing a magic cloak from Kingpin's vault. Now this cloak does basically give him the exact same powers he had before, except this time bro can just turn into the fucking gun devil from Chainsaw Man. And this dude can just straight up shoot magical shots of energy out of his dome. Plus I fuck with his Rivals design heavy. That shit is hard to me. Before I forget, he also shows up in Ironheart, but I haven't watched that yet, so I can't really say anything on it. And apparently shows up in an Avengers anime, but other than those in comics, he just shows up in mobile games and shit. Overall though, the Hood is a very interesting character to me, and I'm honestly glad I took the time to research him. Like, I saw him in Rivals and I just had to do a video on him. He actually looks so cool. Bro's definitely a very underrated character, but let me know what y'all think. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video.